Coming up, there was fan fury as Peacock cocked up the Money in the Bank stream for US viewers last night. A huge debut is set for Raw tonight, and more details on John Cena's return to WWE. Rabadoo! Give the old subscribe button a 5-knuckle shuffle to support WrestleTalk and help us climb the hill to 1 million subscribers. It's good for you too because it gives you daily wrestling news. Get that down ya. Could I have ironed this t-shirt? Yes, I could have. Could I have turned the iron on in this heat? No, I could not.
Support WrestleTalk!
Money in the Bank last night was a triumphant return to live shows with fans for WWE, and the company really gave the fans something to cheer about. Big E won the men's Money in the Bank briefcase, Nikki ASH won the women's, AJ Styles was there and just exceptionally over as ever. The men's ladder match was basically everything you could ever hope it would ever be, and John Cena returned to close out the show to the sound of cheers. Look there in the sky, what's that? Is that a flying pig? While the live fans in attendance got to witness the entire show, even the traditionally unseeable Cena in all of his glory, the same couldn't be said for the viewers at home because Peacock, once again, proved to be a big old pile of bobbins. Because the platform struggled with technical issues throughout the evening with buffering and freezing, but they were particularly pronounced during the entrances for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, where the entire thing just crapped out for a lot of viewers. This left many viewers in the US angry and upset, and on Twitter raging about it, including Hall of Famer Mark Henry, who said, "I should have a match with Peacock. Somebody's going to get their ass kicked." And the issue seemed to only concern Peacock, as according to Dave Meltzer, who updated throughout. So evidently, this is a Peacock issue and not a WWE Network issue, as international is okay. Now, interestingly, Meltzer was expecting WWE to pause the show while the issues were resolved, stating, "Okay, this is universal. Everyone knows. Let's see if they care about their fan base and wait for it to be fixed to start the match." But according to PW Insider, WWE weren't initially aware of the issues with the Peacock broadcast, as the problems weren't emanating from Fort Worth, Texas, where the show was being broadcast by WWE. So as WWE had zero issues internationally, they decided to keep going because they had that wider audience watching, and delaying the show would ruin that, I guess. Now, the Peacock stream was eventually fixed, with WWE themselves tweeting out for users to log out and then log back in to fix the issues, a move they clearly picked up from their IT technician.
Hello, IT? Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Interestingly, PW Insider notes that the returning stream on Peacock was taken directly from the WWE Network, as it no longer featured any of the usual Peacock graphics, so were they circumventing whatever in Peacock's back end was causing the issues? The thing is though, either way you shake it, it is not a good look for Peacock, and is just another issue in a list as long as your arm of gripes that have come up since WWE's content migrated over there. You're a TV company. How is doing TV a thing that you can't do? Now, Money in the Bank proved that WWE can be exciting when it wants to be, and does seem to know what the fans actually want to see. It just appears that they have been choosing not to do that for the last year or 10. Anywho, we've returned to the world in which anything can happen in WWE TV, and as we gear up for SummerSlam, that means surprises, hence Cena from earlier. Now, according to Andrew Zarian of the Mat Men podcast, there is a big surprise slated for tonight's Raw, and it is not Goldberg. He said on their show, "There's a big debut happening, a big debut tomorrow night." Tomorrow night. And when asked if it was someone returning to the show or a brand new debut, he said it was someone new, someone huge, and a fellow Texan. Hang on, I've just got to go frantically Google Texan wrestlers. No idea, Who do you realistically think could debut tonight, and who would be your dream WWE debut to see? Let me know in the comments down below, because I will be replying. Now, John Cena returned to the kind of response reserved for the true greatest of all times of wrestling at last night's pay-per-view. Being in films seems to have really rehabbed his wrestling image. Now, this return and this face-off with Universal Champion Roman Reigns puts us very much on track for that rumoured SummerSlam main event of Cena versus Reigns. And after the show went off air last night, Fightful Select and Sean Ross Sapp updated us with some backstage news on Jonathan's role in WWE as of right now. According to their report, Cena is being treated as a free free agent by the company and will appear on several upcoming shows without the usual brand limitations. He is a one-man wild card. It's hard to tie down what you can't see, I guess. Kicking off this No Limits Speedway to SummerSlam in style and giving the first Raw back in front of fans a turbocharged opener, it was also announced that Big Match John would be kicking off tonight's Raw from Dallas. It's also been suggested that Cena will be revealing his reasons for returning to the company ahead of SummerSlam, though anyone watching that finale to Money in the Bank can likely guess as Cena wandered out after Roman Reigns, with a hefty dose of help from Seth Rollins, defeated Edge to retain the Blue Universal Championship. Cena then ran the ropes, taunted Roman, and played to the crowd as the show went off air. I wonder what it could all mean. And honestly, it was nice to see Cena back, and it was crazy to hear that pop for him, but it was also a bit of an anticlimactic face-off for the two, but I'm sure we'll be getting to that in due course. And it's good then that WWE also uploaded a video of what actually happened after the show went off the air as John Cena addressed the crowd in attendance at Fort Worth. He mostly seemed shocked by the reaction he got because he's not used to not being told that he sucks, and he said, "Tonight I just wanted to come out here to let Roman Reigns know that I am back." And he also promised the fans that this was not a one night only. So the mystery of why John Cena is back is, it's not a mystery. We've been talking about it for weeks. We've been talking about this for weeks. And as we've already discussed at length, John Cena is not the only big name return coming to the company. Because all the reports last week stated that Bill Goldberg would make an appearance on tonight's episode of Raw to confront Bobby Lashley and set up a match for the WWE Championship. But according to Andrew Zarian, there are even more in the works, as he retweeted his claim from when the Goldberg news broke that this is only the beginning of the bigger name returns, adding after Cena made his entrance that there was more to come. Cena is just the beginning. Now, we already know of Goldberg, and the likelihood of Becky Lynch making her return in time for SummerSlam seems pretty nailed on, because why else would you have Charlotte pick up the Raw Women's title? That is a money match for SummerSlam. SummerSlam? Why just say it like that? SummerSlam. And Becky was also in Texas for the show, tweeting ahead of the event that it was a beautiful day in Fort Worth and that she hoped no one gets taken out of the ladder match. Nobody was taken out of the ladder match, and Lynch didn't make her return, but tonight could be the night, y'all. Especially if she doesn't do a post-teasing like she did at the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, and now Money in the Bank. She's gonna strike when we least expect it, because she won't have told us that she's gonna strike. Ninja. And Money in the Bank 2021 was also a historic moment for WWE. It was the first proper pay-per-view post-pandemic, which I'm using in the same way that people say post-apocalyptic, like, we know that if zombies are still around, the apocalypse is still on, folks. It's just a useful phrase. It was also an interesting time for WWE to attempt to rewrite some of their own history, as on the commentary, Michael Cole suggested that WWE Hall of Famer Edge invented the Money in the Bank ladder match, which is not the story that's been peddled for many, many years. Because it is Chris Jericho who is often credited with coming up with the format back in 2005, so a fan linked him to Michael Cole's gaffe on Twitter, and Jez gave a bit of a history lesson, saying, "True story, Brian Gewirtz and I came up with that entire match concept. Well, almost all of it. Vince insisted that the contract be in a briefcase. A businessman puts the business things in the match. Have a briefcase." Admittedly, the briefcase is probably the best bit of the match. Gewirtz didn't get involved in all of this corrections fest, but did respond to a WWE tweet earlier in the day with some even more interesting history, saying, 16 years ago, this was originally conceived as a one-time only Hollywood dream match with RVD climbing a ladder, grabbing a contract, and declaring his dream was to bring back ECW. I think we had potential dreams for everyone. I wish I remembered them. Anyway, happy and safe. Hashtag Money in the Bank. Ultimately, I think the World Championship contract and cash-in makes so much more sense than the sort of Joseph Technicolor dreamcoatness of anything you want, you can have, because when Otis won last year, we would have seen him marry Mandy Rose, who was also a sandwich at the same time. But a few dreams definitely did come true at Money in the Bank, as an emotional Nikki ASH won the women's briefcase and Big E, or Beige, overcame adversity to pick up the men's. However, his fellow New Day member Kofi Kingston was used to put over Bobby Lashley super strong, which made for a good booking to build up Lashley for Goldberg or the like, but after what happened with Brock, kind of feels like doing Kofi dirty. All the better for Beige to avenge him, though. But with that kind of booking on the cards for Kofi fairly regularly, it's no wonder he fantasizes about a complete change in WWE, telling Metro during an interview that the entire New Day group think about turning heel a lot, saying, To be honest, we fantasize about it all the time. I tell people that I had the most fun in my career when I was yelling at children and threatening to ground children and threatening children. I used to love just going out there and antagonizing children. They will always remember the moment of when I cheered for this guy against the New Day. He threatened to ground me, but my guy beat him. I love that dynamic. It's so much fun, and we think about it all the time, but these people won't stop cheering for us. These people like their pancakes and their bootios too much. He also said the group hasn't pitched a switch to Vince because their gimmick is working a little bit too well, and usually if you go to pitch something, what you're doing usually shouldn't be working. But then again, they always thought that a Roman heel turn wouldn't work, and just look at him now. I am here for an evil New Day. Give me the Cruel Day. Give me Cruel Day.
You know, there hasn't been a great cash-in since Seth Rollins at Mania 31, which honestly feels like 100 years ago. And the matches have been various levels of Monster in the Bank boring, Brock Lesnar winning a match he wasn't in levels of silly, or last year's Cluster Pluck levels of stupidity. But this show felt like the reset the gimmick needed.